Yes, very good morning. Today we are going to discussing about one of the elementary data link protocol, that is stop and wait protocol. So in last classes we have discussed about the what is the main responsibilities of the data link layer that we can see here. So it is going to be taking care about the two main responsibilities. One is flow control and second one is error control. So flow control and error control together can be managed by the elementary data link protocols. So one of that protocol we are going to see, that is stop and wait protocol. So let me explain what briefly about what do you mean by data flow control and what do you mean by error control. So where the flow control is refers to how much amount of data you can transmit from the transmitter to the receiver before getting the acknowledgement. This is going to be maintained by the flow control, where whatever may be the data you have been transmitted from the transmitter to the receiver, so how reliably the data has been received by the receiver, that is going to be taken care by the error control. So here together combining these two aspects, we are going to discussing about how you are implementing the stop and wait protocol. So this is going to be giving the brief introduction. What do you mean by flow control? See, if you see, flow control refers to a set of procedures used to restrict the amount of data that the sender can send before waiting for acknowledgement. This is refers to as a flow control. And next you can see what do you mean by error control. Error control means how better you are receiving your data without any kind of modifications in the transmitted information. That is going to be refers to the error control. So once the data has been received in error, with the error, so what will be the problem? What kind of measure you have to take to retrieve your original information means here you are implementing a certain measures. Whatever may be the data you have received with the error, that has to be retransmitted from the transmitter. So once the transmitter has to retransmit that error information means the transmitter need to have that information until it requires, until it is going to be receiving the acknowledgement. So that means once the acknowledgement has been received by the transmitter, then only it is going to be discarding that packet and it is not going to be no more available in the buffer, and else that packet has to be in the buffer at the side of transmitter. So based upon this logic, you are going to be waiting for the acknowledgement. Once the acknowledgement has been received by the transmitter, so then it is going to be transmitting the next packet. So here this phenomena you are going to be saying it as a automatic repeat request. So we can see how you are implementing the stop and wait protocol. So in the stop and wait protocol, here you are having the three different protocols, that stop and wait protocol. Then after you are having go back and ARQ and selective repeat ARQ. But today our concentration is going to be on the stop and wait protocol. That we are going to be limiting our discussion up to the stop and wait protocol only. So by the name itself you can understand that whenever you have transmitted the data, you are going to be waiting for a certain amount of time until the receiver is going to be acknowledging to the transmitter. So that is the logic has been used in the stop and wait protocol. So what are the features you are having the stop and wait protocol, how you are implementing? This is going to be giving the description how you are implementing the stop and wait protocol. So in the first point it is clear that the sending device keeps a copy of the send frame transmitted until it receives an acknowledgement, what I have discussed at the starting. The sender starts a timer when it sends a frame. So the transmitter is going to be transmitting the data and it is going to be waiting for a stipulated time. So why? Because we are going to be calculating what is the maximum propagation delay, round trip time you are supposed to say, how much amount of time required to transmit the data, at the same time from the receiver end to the transmitter how much time is required. Based upon that you are going to be deciding how much amount of timeout period the transmitter has to wait. Once within the timeout period, if you are supposed to receive the acknowledgement, then you can say that the data has been received by the receiver properly. Once within the timeout period you didn't receive the acknowledgement, itself it is going to, the transmitter itself is going to be understanding that the data has not been received by the receiver properly. So here you are having the different kinds of scenarios. Alone you can't say that the receiver has not been received the data. There may be a chance of different kinds of conditions. That conditions you are going to see. So then we are going to see another way how it is going to be efficiently working whenever whenever you are having the duplication of the packets also. So here you are going to basically concentration on the four different kinds of cases. One is a normal operation, second one is the frame is going to be lost, and the third case the acknowledgement is lost, and the fourth one the acknowledgement is delayed. So here this figure is going to be giving the making us to understand the normal operation. So here you are having the sender and here you are having the receiver. So both has been initiated with the 0. So here whenever you are implementing the stop and wait protocol, whenever you are transmitting the one frame another frame, you are going to be assigning you are prefixing one number. That number is going to be 0 and 1. Whenever you are going to be in the continuation of the process of the transmission, so alternatively 0 and 1 is going to be sending along with the frame. So how this appending this 0 and 1 is going to be useful while you are going to be doing the transmission, we will see in one example. See, in the normal operation there is no problem. Sender has sent the frame and it has been sent with the frame prefixing with the 0. So frame 0 has been sent, and the receiver also has been waiting to receive the frame 0, where that is going to be indicated by the r is equal to 0. So this frame 0 and r equal to 0 has been tallied. It is going to be accepting that particular frame. Once it has been accepted that particular frame, again it has to acknowledge. In that acknowledgement it is going to be sending with the 1. So what this 1 is going to be conveying to the sender means it has received the frame 0 properly, and the receiver is looking to receive the frame 1. So this acknowledgement is going to be giving the information that it is waiting to receive the frame 1. So once it has been received by the transmitter, the sender is going to be sending the frame 1, and the frame 1 has been received by the receiver, and it is going to be giving the acknowledgement of the 0. What it is going to be conveying means in the next transmission it is going to be expecting to receive the frame 0. So in the next slide we can see, so here in this case the frame has been lost, okay, loss or damaged frame. So here you are having the sender, the same example we can see sender and the receiver. So it has been initiated the transmission, frame 0 has been sent and the receiver has been received. So this is going to be seems to be the normal operation. So then after, whenever you are going to be initiated for the next transmission, it has sent the frame. Whenever it has sent the frame, it has not been received by the receiver. Why? Because in the channel itself it has been lost and there is no any kind of acknowledgement. So simply the receiver is going to be idle. It won't give any kind of acknowledgement once it doesn't receive any kind of data. So what the transmitter has to do means it is going to be waiting for a timeout period. So that we have discussed what do you mean by timeout period. It is a maximum round trip time. So it is going to be waiting for certain amount of time. During this time it doesn't receive any kind of acknowledgement. So what it has to do means again it is going to be retransmitting the same frame. So here frame 1 has been again retransmitted. So now it is going to be matching with the receiver sequence number also. So simply it is going to be accepting that frame. Then after it is going to be acknowledging with the 0, and it is going to be conveying to the transmitter that in the next transition it is going to be expecting to receive the frame 0. So another case we can see here, loss of acknowledgement frame. So here you can clearly understand what is the significance of using the sequence number 0 and 1 alternatively on each and every frame. Okay. So it seems to be normal operation in the first case. So frame 0 has been sent, whatever may be the first case we have discussed, and it has been sent the acknowledgement. So then after again it has been sent the frame 1. Once the frame 1 has been received and it has been acknowledged. So this is acknowledgement has been lost. So once the acknowledgement has been lost, what the transmitter has to understand. So it understands that the packet has not been delivered to the receiver. So what it will do means again it is going to be retransmitting the frame 1. So once it has been retransmitted the frame 1, already the receiver having the knowledge that it has been received the frame 1. So it is expecting to receive the frame 0, not frame 1. So that is going to be indicated by the r equal to 0. Okay. So once this frame 1 has been received by the reached to the receiver, So it is not going to be matching with the 0 and the frame number, simply it is going to be discarding that one, and it is going to be acknowledging that it is not waiting for the frame 1, it is waiting for the 0. So by this, by having this 0 and 1, 0 and 1 sequence number altering, simply here you are discarding if there is any kind of duplication because of the any kind of it may be the packet loss, or it may be the packet delay, or it may be the loss of frame, whatever you can say. Okay. So these three scenarios is going to be giving the conclusion that what is the significance, how you are implementing the stop and wait protocol, and what is the significance of the giving the sequence number or the giving the 0 and 1 for the acknowledgement and the frame alternatively, and then how you are avoiding the duplication of the packets. So this concludes that how you are implementing the stop and wait protocol, and what are the different types of cases where you are overcoming different difficulties in the implementation of the data link protocol. Thank you.